واتقوا الله ويعلمكم الله والله بكل شيء عليم.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Inshallah ta'ala, in this part of etiquettes of a student of knowledge, we'll be going through the etiquettes a student of knowledge should have when it comes to his or her fellow students of knowledge. So, آداب طالب العلم مع زملائه. We'll start off with number one. And the easiest way to explain or express what the first one is to say, remember that you're all on the same team. When you see your brother or your sister from Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah and you see them excelling in knowledge, you see them excelling in da'wah, you see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them the ability to memorize many things very easily, the ability to understand many masail in knowledge very easily. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may have given them the ability to pick up different sciences of ilm very quickly. Then you should be happy with that. Why? Because this is considered to be a positive, something positive for the ummah. This person is spreading the truth, removing misguidance from the people. So this, don't allow this to be a reason for hasid to enter your heart for your fellow brother or your fellow sister, where you try and look for their faults and you try to put them down. You should be happy with this. And you should ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to increase you in khair and to increase your brother in khair. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. That none of you have true iman, complete iman, until you love for your brother what you love for yourself. The same way you would love for yourself to excel in knowledge, excel in da'wah, for you to be blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to have a lot of knowledge and to benefit people, and then you reap that reward in the hereafter. You should also love that for your fellow brother, your fellow sister, who are students of knowledge. Which leads us on to number two. Number two is be wary of al-hasad, be wary of envy. Envy is a very, very evil trait. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, He commands us to seek refuge of the envy of the envious one. وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدٍ. And seek refuge from the evil of the envy of the envious one. They say, or the poet says about envy, كُلُّ الْمَوَدَّاتِ تُرْجَى كُلُّ الْعَدَاوَاتِ تُرْجَى مَوَدَّتُهَا إِلَّا عَدَاوَةَ مَنْ عَادَاكَ مِنْ حَسَدٍ. That all types of enmity, there's a possibility that it can turn to love, except for the person who hates you, and that animosity they have within their heart is because of hasad. Hasad is a very, very evil trait. Hasad is where you want all this khair to be removed from the person. You don't want any khair for that person at all. And it's a filthy trait. And the reality of it is it does not benefit you, but yet it actually prevents you from seeking knowledge. It's a roadblock and it eats you up inside. And it removes the barakah from your ilm. It removes the barakah from your ilm. And you should be aware of this evil trait. Why? Because when you're envious of someone and you have hasad in your heart of someone, what is the haqiqah of this feeling that you have? What's the reality of it? The sha'ir, he says, ألا قل لمن كان لي حاسدا ألا تدري على من أسأت عليه الأدب أسأت على الله في فعله لأنك لم ترضى لما وهب. He explains, he says, say to the person who is envious of me, a person who has hasad of me, do you know who you are being disrespectful to? You are being disrespectful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has willed. Why? Because you are not pleased for what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given me. You are not pleased with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given your fellow brother or your fellow sister from ilm and knowledge and able to memorize things and the ability to give da'wah and the ability to spread this truth. and to teach the people and to remove misguidance and to attain great reward. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given this person this tawfiq and has given this person this fadl, this virtue. So you in reality are being disrespectful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why this trait of hasid is a very, very evil and filthy trait. Now, from the signs of hasid is that when you see your fellow student of knowledge falling into a mistake, you're happy. When you see that they maybe have not understood a mas'ala, it puts a feeling within you, or that, this person, he doesn't even know this thing that he's studying, or he hasn't even studied it properly. And you will see this from many people, that maybe they study a certain knowledge, a certain ilm in a specific way. And if they come across one of their fellow students of knowledge who may not have studied it in that certain way but has mastered it in a different way, that if he makes a mistake here or there, they will brush him with a certain brush and say, no, this guy, he doesn't even know fiqh, he doesn't know usul, he doesn't know aqeedah, he hasn't studied anything. But he may have made a certain mistake in a certain mas'ala, he may not have understood this specific mas'ala properly. But he has a general itqan of, a general mastery of that specific science. But he may have made a mistake in this specific issue. And you're happy and you feel like you're above this person. Be aware of that. Be aware of that. Or where you see that your fellow student of knowledge excels in many different things, but he may not be as strong as you in a specific science. So that when someone comes to you and asks you about your fellow brother, your fellow sister, what do you know about this person? You forget about all of the other things that this person is really good at. And you talk about the specific science that they're not that good at. And you mention, this person, he's not that beneficial, he doesn't know this, he doesn't know that. This is from hasid. Why? Because you're putting your brother down. You're putting your fellow sister down. Even though you know that this person is very, very good at many, many other ulum of the sharia. Now, let's move on to our next issue. Our next point is that you should benefit from your fellow students of knowledge. Ali radiallahu anhu, he said, تزاوروا وتذاكروا هذا الحديث فإنك إن لم تفعلوا يدرس علمكم. Ali radiallahu anhu, he would say, visit each other and do revision of this knowledge with each other, of this hadith. Why? Because if you don't, then your ilm will disappear, your knowledge will disappear. So you should benefit from your fellow students of knowledge, benefit from those that are stronger than you, benefit from those that are on the same level as you, benefit from those that are lower than you. You can always benefit. Why? Because you have not been given all of knowledge. وَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, and you have not been given from knowledge except for that which is little. So there will always be someone out there that has more knowledge of an issue or certain masail or certain sciences than you. So always look to benefit. And if you're in this state of mind up until the day you die, then you will always benefit. As the moment that you feel like you have mastered everything is the day that you will abode in ignorance until you die. You will be in ignorance until you die, when in reality you have not mastered everything. Because Allah mentions, وَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا, you have not been given from knowledge except for that which is little. Now this moves us on to our next point, which is that you should look out for your fellow students of knowledge. Look out for your fellow brothers. Right? If you feel like they are slipping or if they're making mistakes in certain masail, then bring them back. Give them nasiha. Right? If you see durus that are going on, then you tell your fellow brother, come with me, there's this dars going on, we're going to go to this sheikh, the sheikh is starting this specific kitab. Or if you come across certain books that are beneficial, you spread. You come across certain masail that are beneficial, you inform your brothers and sisters. If your fellow brother and sister is finding a specific issue difficult to understand, if you have more knowledge in that specific mas'ala, then you inform that brother, right? Or your fellow student of knowledge. And you tell them, okay, look, this is how you understand this mas'ala, this is where you're going wrong, this is the way you should understand it. Okay? And on top of that, make sure you interact and your circle of friends is made up of students of knowledge. Now, I don't mean that you should disregard all of your old friends. And I'm talking about your good friends. Your bad friends you should cut off straight away. If they are having a very, very bad effect on you and they're trying to drag you into that which is haram. But your good friends, who may not necessarily be students of knowledge, you should still be around them, benefit them, you still have them as your friends because they are your brothers in Islam. But you should also have a group of friends, a circle that are students of knowledge. And in that circle, make sure it's a mixture. You have students that are stronger than you. You have students that are on the same level as you. You have students that are maybe not as knowledgeable as you. And the reason why I say this is because when you're with these students, you'll talk about masail, you'll benefit from them, about what books are the best, what prints of those books are the best, study tips, tips on memorization, things that they have done that have helped them tremendously in many different issues that are related to ilm. You'll benefit greatly. You'll benefit in terms of discussing masail. Why? Because depending on what country you go to seek knowledge, sometimes the mashayikh of that specific country, it may not necessarily be from the aada, right? The norms that a student of knowledge discusses masail with his sheikh, goes back and forth in the dars itself, right? And they may leave that sometimes to a higher level. Maybe when a person gets to magister, that the teacher, you can go back and forth with the teacher a lot more. Why? Because it's more munaqasha and they feel like this level is suitable for it. But when you may have a dars in the masjid, it may be more where the sheikh is just teaching the book and then he'll leave questions to the end. And then if you have an opportunity to ask him a question, then you'll ask him the question. And then sometimes, if it's not from their culture, that you go back and forth with the sheikh until you understand the mas'ala, then you may not sometimes have that opportunity. It depends on their culture, because the culture differs from country to country. So the sheikh might sometimes find that to be disrespectful. And obviously, each person of knowledge differs and they have their own specific personality. So the benefit of having students of knowledge that are stronger than you in many different sciences is that you can talk to them in a way that generally sometimes some mashayikh you might not be able to talk to them in that specific way. You can discuss masail, you can go back and forth on many different issues. So that's the benefit of it. That's why it's very important for you to have a circle of students of knowledge that are made up of those that are higher than you. Why? Because if it's only those that are on the same level as you or those that are below you, then you will feel like you have reached a certain level of knowledge. And maybe ghurur and ujub and amazement with yourself might enter your heart. But when you're with those that are higher than you, you will see, okay, I'm deficient in this specific science. I need to work on it. I'm deficient in this part of this specific science. I need to work on it as well. So that's the benefit of having a mixture of students with you in your specific circle of friends. The next point, and this will probably be the last one, is that you should give nasiha to your fellow students of knowledge. If you see your brother falling into a mistake, right? Maybe he was teaching a kitab and he made a mistake in a specific mas'ala. Maybe he wrote a book and he made a mistake in a specific chapter or specific subchapter of a book. He didn't understand it properly, or he explained it in a way that was incorrect. You shouldn't go out there and put this mistake out for everyone to see, put it on social media and mention, oh look, this guy, he made this mistake, he doesn't even understand these masail, how can he be teaching this book, how can he be writing an explanation on this book? Your brother from Ahl Sunnah, you should treat him as your brother, your blood brother. You want khair for him. You see this mistake, you message him, you say, Akhi, you made a mistake in this specific mas'ala, I think you might have went wrong here. This is how it's understood. Try and maybe correct it next time when you teach the lesson and explain that you made a mistake in the previous lesson, or the next print of the book, mention that this was the specific mistake that you mentioned in this explanation of this book that you wrote. You shouldn't just put out a bayan or put out some type of message on social media and say, oh, because he made this mistake, alanan, yajibu alayya, it's obligatory upon me for me to give him nasiha alanan, yani in front of everyone. Yani, لا يجب عليك شيء. It's not wajib upon you for you to give him nasiha alanan in front of every single person. And in reality, that goes against the maqsood, the idea of nasiha. The idea of nasiha is for you to correct that change. And a lot of the time, if you go out there and you're putting it out on social media where you haven't even contacted the brother himself, then how are you going to actually correct that change? A lot of the time, it's very counterproductive. So you message your fellow brother and you tell him, Yani akhi, you have made this mistake, and yani, as we have mentioned. And don't be from those that are looking for the mistakes of people. And as soon as they find a mistake, they want to just brandish or yani, brush this person with a specific brush. This is min su' al-khuluq. It's not from the akhlaq of a Muslim. Prophet ﷺ said, ad-dinu nasiha, that the religion is nasiha. And the correct way for you to give nasiha is for you to find a way to correct this mistake. Now, this goes to the person who is receiving this nasiha. Whenever you receive this nasiha, this advice from a person, sometimes it can be from someone that you don't even know. Don't become arrogant and think, oh, this person, I don't know who he is. Has he even sought knowledge? Yani, where is he getting this from? You see that a mistake has been pointed out, you say, Barakallahu feek, Jazakallahu khairan akhi. You thank them, you say, Jazakallahu khair for pointing this mistake out. You correct the mistake, you clarify it maybe in the next lesson that you teach or the next kitab, the next print of the book that you print, right? Or you get it out there, I made this mistake, this is the correct way to understand it. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless the brother who showed me this mistake. Okay? Don't be arrogant. And don't think, okay, I'm a student of knowledge. This person, I don't know even if he's even a student of knowledge. He may not necessarily be, but he has understood this masala properly and he's pointed it out to you. So you should accept this nasiha. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.